Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
We table issues relating to the arts and entertainment for a riveting discussion, of course, without fear nor favor.
The question the presenter asked them was a dumb question. You need to speak the fact and move.
Varied views. We agree to disagree.
So I would disagree with everything you said. I think that he's a smart guy. I think what he did.
No, but I also said he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I guess that I'm waiting for the what next.
Yeah, I don't think that we have to wait for what next.
It sometimes gets confrontational, but that's the beauty of the game.
Today you deny funny face.
It's not my brother.
Today you deny funny face.
I don't know him.
You don't know funny face.
It's not my brother.
You don't know funny face.
It's a package. We meet, we sit, we dialogue, we learn, we progress. My name is Benefo Huabin Abrantepa, a proud blogger, and this is my forum.
From the dawn of time, people have engaged in several businesses. With the onset of technology and innovation, life has relatively been made easier. By using debit or credit cards,
Mobile banking.
Thank you. And your favorite, mobile money?
tech has indeed married business. On BizTech, we spend time with faces behind known and upcoming businesses in the country.
Learn more about the new technologies and innovation,
as well as find out about the trending issues in the world of business.
Join us as we serve you with a variety of compelling interviews, projects and others right here on GhanaWeb TV.
Hello and welcome to BizTech on GhanaWeb TV with me, Ernestina Sewa Asante. As usual,
On Biz Tech, we serve you some stories that made headlines in the week and an interview a member of the business desk had with an expert. So this week, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo granted the approval for zero pricing, stabilization and recovery levy to mitigate the impact on increasing fuel prices on consumers. So my colleague Mauli Aholumega had a discussion with petroleum expert Duncan Amwa, and here is the full report.
The National Petroleum Authority recently announced it had been granted approval to remove fuel levies for 2 months. The levies, which are the price stabilization and recovery levy for petrol, diesel, and LPG, is expected to cushion consumers for the period as prices of these products have been surging in recent months. To unpack the development, I'll be engaging a petroleum expert on the decision and its impact on consumers. Before I introduce my guest, I'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. This is Biz Tech on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Mauli Aholumega. Welcome back from that break. My guest on this week's edition of Biz Tech is Duncan Amwa, and he's the Executive Secretary for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana. Duncan, welcome to Biz Tech on GhanaWeb TV. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yeah. I pray you good too.
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Yes, Many thanks for the time. Yeah, so I just want to pick your initial thoughts on the recent removal of fuel levies.
We've described the removal of the 14-16 pesos price stabilization and recovery levy, one as a good gesture, but again, it is not adequate. It is not enough. It's not something that could bring the kind of relief that Ghanaians are clamoring for. We have, in the meantime, put a memo together for the Finance Ministry to look at a more sustainable way of cushioning Ghanaians in the face of rising costs of fuel at the pumps, and for that matter, international market prices hitting all of us. And so the gesture, in principle, very good. However, impact or the intended outcome or effect, you are probably going to get zero or even negative impact, because in the next 2, 3, 4 days, the pump prices are likely to surge by at least 30 pesos. Once that happens, you would consume the 14 pesos and the 16 pesos that you throw in there. So technically, we'll be back to the same squares or even a worse place. And so we think that the more sustainable thing will be to manage the myriad of taxes on the price build-up. Anything other than this will simply be window dressing the issue and going out to tell Ghanaians that we've reduced fuel prices. I'm already getting calls asking whether the transport operator should not reduce fares. I can assure you, they've taken more of a hit than 14 pesos can recover for. Just between January and October, Ghanaian pump prices have gone up by as much as 1 cedi 80 pesos. Already people are asking transport operators, based on the announced intended 14 peso reduction, between January and October, pump prices have moved from 4 cedi 67 to current 6 cedi 52. That's about 1 cedi 85 pesos difference. So when you are dealing with 1 cedi 85, with the possibility of it going further 30, such that it will cross 2 cedis, and then you get a 14 peso reduction, then people start looking at transport operators. We rather owe them And so I don't get surprised hearing from their unions that they are even pushing for increases. The reduction levels we are seeing, it's, like I said, gesture is good, but as to whether it will have the kind of impact you want it to have on the Ghanaian economic situation, it wouldn't. Okay. It's woeful.
Yeah. Speaking of impact, I understand Parliament has to come back into the House, sit down before this implementation and removal of the implementation can take place. What are your thoughts on that?
You see, that is law, and it needs to be done. The other part we don't agree with. If you're taking it to Parliament for Parliament to scale down, why would you do for 2 months? If you go through all that process of Parliament scaling down on a tax, and then you say in 2 months you are restoring it, you are better off probably not even doing it at all. However, the more sustainable thing we would want to see Parliament do is to scrap the compendium of taxes that we've saddled the price build-up, one of which I have here, with. You have as many as 13 different tax items, and you wonder if at the time that government is making additional revenue from our crude exports, it wouldn't be a more prudent thing to ease down these taxes, because you inputted these taxes simply for revenue. A lot of them. Government needs money. If you look at the road fund, we need money for roads. Energy debt recovery, we need money to pay off the energy sector debts. Stabilization and recovery, which you are removing. Special petroleum tax, which is a VAT on the price build-up. Primary distribution for bust. Bust margin also comes. Fuel marking margin. You see, there's quite a lot that if we scrutinized properly and went down on some, even if for temporal, periods, we should be able to at least give relief to Ghanaians at this point. And I say this with a revenue debate in mind. We talk of government having a need for revenue. What we're forgetting now is that because we are an oil producing and exporting country, the moment crude moves from $50 to $60, the $10 variation is a gain for Ghana because we are also exporting. Now crude has moved from 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to above 80, approaching 90. The $20-30 gain is revenue that government is receiving or recording. Just 2-3 weeks ago, the BOG Finance Ministry were out there saying they've made a windfall of $89 million. In cedi equivalent, that's in excess of 500 million Ghana cedis. So if you took out some of these taxes, we should fetch you sometimes 200-300 million for the same period. The government has still made a gain, even on a bad situation where international market prices are inching up by the day. So those who argue that is for revenue and we can't do anything about it, it is that they are just not informed. If it is for revenue purposes, government is raking in excess of $89 million for a quarter due to the same price increments on the international market. Shouldn't you be magnanimous to use 100 or 200 million for these taxes that is also choking the pump prices? We think somebody has to manage the prices. Just throwing in stabilization and recovery of 14 pesos will not do the trick.
Thank you very much, Duncan. So touching on global demand, right now at the moment we are having there's a lot of disruptions on the oil market, and there are also inflation risks as well. What's the SCOPEC's take on that, and what do you think we should be doing to mitigate this?
As a country, you have nothing that you can reasonably do to influence global fuel prices. Yeah, a very small market. If you're talking of a economies like India, China, the US, Europe, and you put Ghana's, contributions to the global basket, you are almost insignificant. So what you do as a price taker is to ensure you manage the effect on the other side. Like I said, if crude was to go to $100, government of Ghana is a gainer because you're also exporting. If it was at $30 and it moves to $50, there's a $20 gain that government of Ghana will receive for our share of oil and oil entitlements. So it is not always negative that prices are going up on the international market. However, because we refuse to manage the impact on our local market, it turns out to be negative to the economy. Whilst government is raking in excess, money, they will still want to collect all the taxes that they enforced even when they were making lower than projected.
So I've been speaking with Duncan Amwa, and he's the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and we've been unpacking the recent decision by government to remove the price stabilization and recovery levy for the next 2 months. I'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
Welcome back from our break. I've been speaking with Duncan Amwa, and he's the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and we've been unpacking the recent decision by government to remove the price stabilization and recovery levy for 2 months. Duncan, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so next I want us to come to the LPG. I understand the LPG gas, the LPG gas, it's going to be increased. So what's your take on that?
You see, when I say we don't have a strategy as a country, these are some of the fall-offs. So for petrol diesel, because your refinery is not working, basically you are importing almost everything. For gas, Atwabo, your processor, is putting out enough that could suffice for the local market. Yet Atwabo's prices sometimes, if not higher than the imported, is at neck to neck with the imported. So anytime the imported price goes up, Atwabo will also have to go up. No problem. LNG elsewhere comes so cheap simply because before you actually get to your oil well, oil production, gas is one of the first things you come across. In the past, we have had to flare, as in let it evaporate into the atmosphere for free. At this point that prices of crude and its allied or associated products is rising, is there a way we can localize what we have here? Every of the oil fields would give you some amount of gas. How much of it are we trapping as a country? How much of it are we processing for local use? We just sit, get caught ball watching, and throw our hands in despair. We do think that the taxes on LPG would also have to go at this point, especially since we are also increasing the cost, as in the cost of processing gas. Would need to do away with some of the taxes. We've held gas prices so neck to neck with other petroleum products. such that it is not attractive even for the poor man to want to switch from charcoal to gas. If we have a strategy that wants all of us in this country to use cleaner energy, I'm sure LPG should be one of the least expensive commodities. Unfortunately, it's become even more expensive. A kilogram now is 7 cedis and beyond. Petrol is hovering 6.52 for a liter. So the unit cost, LPG, is becoming a problem. The earlier we get a strategy for these things, you cannot have a clean society, a clean country, when a majority of people are still using firewood, charcoal, and all those things. And yet we complain we are dirty. Some of these taxes that we've packed onto gas prices makes it a disincentive for people to switch from their traditional charcoal to LPG. So we are begging of authorities, the same way stabilization and others should go off petrol and LPG, they should look at the taxes on LPG and make it pocket friendly so that people can switch. At a current penetration of 22-25%, it means that for every 100 people, 75 of them still rely on charcoal and other alternate sources of fuel. It's not good enough. It is just not good enough. And I always say we are failing to get our strategy right as a country. It's all about money, revenue, money. Now, government wants money, revenue for its developmental projects. But what we forget is that the people also need the revenue, at least to survive and to improve their livelihoods. If the people don't exist, a government won't exist. So when you squeeze everything out of them, you leave them dry. You are only grounding your economy invariably, because the little bits that they could have plowed back to invest or reinvest, you're taking everything, and the people are worse off. And you want the economy to progress. It won't. So sometimes we talk about economic indicators, GDP, inflation, all of that. It doesn't reflect in the people's pockets, simply because the cost of fuel in this country is way too high than average wages or incomes that people are paid.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Duncan. So, Duncan, finally, I want to touch on a state-owned institution, BOST. It was recently reported that there was some form of adulterated fuel incident occurring there, and also the Tema Oil Refinery as well, almost a similar incident involving theft. What are your thoughts on that?
You see, we need to fix these institutions. It's good they come out now to report some of these shady dealings. But trust me, there's a lot deeper problem with those two institutions that need fixing, institutional problems. Take a look at BOST. MD has done a good job exposing a certain cartel that is adulterating product. But at the base of this is another cartel who charges these drivers monies to load. So before you get a load, the drivers will tell you, the car owners will tell you, it's presumed that they have to pay money, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 per load. If you don't stop that practice, the operator or the driver or the car owner will now be forced to also add other chemicals to boost volume so that they can also get some to recover the monies that you've charged them. Again, in the past, you've had managing directors who would simply play to our blind side, adulterate the product or insist the product is adulterated so they could downgrade and sell to their cronies, and make money. So there's all kinds of criminal enterprises that fester within these institutions. Yet you have the BNI, you have the NIB, we call them, Police CID, IOCO. If you put your ears to the ground, just a teeny weeny bit, you would hear so many stories, especially from those from whom those monies are collected. They talk sometimes, yet nothing is done. In the end, we'll go for some poor driver. Poor driver. Let me repeat, poor driver. Who probably was just to move the product from one point to the other. The NPA is charging Ghanaians for a tracking device. The initial tracking device for NPA, which they used to call the NPA tracker, could tell you where the truck is, the product contained in the truck, the volume, the height, volume. You could tell. Then we substituted that good tracking device with what we call telematics. Telematics only tells you the positional, whatever, of the vehicle. It gives you where the vehicle is, where it moved from, but you can't tell what is in there. So yes, you can tell that it's in Tema, it's moved to Akosombo, or it stopped here, it didn't stop here. What was put into the chambers, you can't tell. So whilst there's a good solution, we go around the solution and create a problem so that people can benefit. And then we come back to complain. The drivers, they may be innocent, they may be guilty, but if they want to probe and ask questions around, that whole fictitious criminal enterprise, you'll be able to round up people. Some will be officials of these entities. Some will be outsiders. So there's a bigger problem. We're just being told, oh, we've arrested drivers and they adulterated. Yet you are charging all of us. Every Ghanaian is paying for tracking. 3 pesos. Yet you cannot tell us at what point the products were adulterated, what was added. Then the tracking device is useless completely. If it is just to tell the position of those cars, I just want to know where my car is and not what it's being used for, then I don't even need it. The car owner should have placed trackers so that they can tell where their vehicles are. But once it's MPA sanctioned, we are interested in the content of the trucks, not the positions of the truck. What goes into the truck, what you loaded with, is it ATK? Was it discharged? Has something been done to it? You should be able to tell from the officers of the NPA and even the operators. Unfortunately, we are silent on that. We are only reporting some drivers, some have run away. Why won't they run away when they were only asked to bring product from one point to the other? A criminal enterprise exists. And if the NIB, the CID, the IOCO dug just slightly deeper, if they just went around asking questions, they will get certain answers that will point them to where to solve the problem from.
All right. Duncan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I've been speaking with Duncan Amwa, and he's the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and he's been my guest on this week's edition of BizTech, and we've been unpacking the oil and gas sector and how pricing will impact on consumers. He's been my guest on this week's edition of BizTech on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Mali Aholumega. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Maulia Holumega, for that eye-opening report. Up next is Biz Headlines. To our very first story, the Bank of Ghana has described World Remit as a fraudulent scheme. The central bank furthered that the money doubling scheme does not reward investors as promised and has also not been given the license to operate in Ghana. In a press statement cited by GhanaWeb, it said, Bank of Ghana has identified a money doubling scheme operating in Ghana under the name World Remit. This fraudulent scheme is distinct from the globally renowned fintech World Remit, which is in the business of international fund transfers. This scheme encourages customers to select preferred packages, following which a code is generated by the fraudsters with which they obtain the WhatsApp accounts of their victims for their own purposes. Bank of Ghana states that it has not licensed any entities or individuals engaged in money doubling. The central bank cautioned the public to not participate in this illegal activity to protect their monies. The central bank stressed that individuals and entities that participate in World Remit do so at their own peril. Still on Bank of Ghana, the central bank has cautioned the public against engaging in fraudulent promotion regarding its 64th anniversary celebration. A statement issued by the central bank and cited by GhanaWeb said its attention had been drawn to reports of the promotion which was circulating on various social media platforms. The bank is not running a 64th anniversary promotion of any kind. The general public is advised not to subscribe to this fraudulent activity, inviting the public to select the link shared through social media, which is intended to lure users to participate in this promotion. The Bank of Ghana further advised the public to take note and to desist from participating in such fraudulent promotions in the name of the central bank. It said any individual or entity that participates in such or similar scheme does so at their own peril. Now on to fuel prices. The prices of petroleum products are expected to witness an upward adjustment by at least 7% at various pumps from October 16th. This comes after media reports indicated that fuel prices would from Friday, October 15th, be revised, but a spokesperson for the oil marketing company said the fuel prices revision is expected to take place at the start of the next pricing window. Kweku Ajimandria, in an interaction with the media, said, "We are just ending the current price window on 15th October and starts on 16th of October. To confirm this move, Mohammed Abdul Kudus, communications manager at the National Petroleum Authority, said, "We at the NPA are looking at the next pricing window, that is from 16th October this Saturday." Meanwhile, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on Monday, October 11th, granted approval to zero the price stabilization and recovery levies on petrol, diesel, and LPG for a period of 2 months. The move is expected to cushion consumers from the increasing hikes in prices of petroleum products. For a fourth consecutive month, consumer inflation in the month of September 2021 rose to 10.6%, exceeding the central bank's medium-term target of 8 to 10%. The increase, although anticipated by the market, is the highest in the last 14 months of COVID-19 since August 2020, when the indicator stood at 11.5%. Data released by the Ghana Statistical Service shows that after inflation had slowed down to 7.5% in May 2021 from 10.3% in February 2021, the indicator had persistently risen to its current level, largely on the back of increasing non-food inflation. To our last story, the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo-led government has revealed its intention to once again submit to Parliament a restructured agreement with regards to the Ejapa royalties transaction. The deal earlier hit a snag after it was approved by Parliament, but was withdrawn following concerns raised by a number of civil society organizations and a section of the public over the transparency of the agreement. But Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta recently disclosed that the Attorney General had already reviewed a restructured deal and repackaged it to ensure the country benefits from the deal. He said, "The Attorney General has looked at it, and we have had a few stakeholder meetings, and I think the new board should be energized to review that and then go through the parliamentary process." That's all for today's edition of Biz Tech on GhanaWeb TV. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the GhanaWeb, on YouTube, GhanaWeb TV. Do well to log on to www.ghanaweb.com for more stories. I am Ernestina Sewa Asante. Do have a lovely weekend.
Hello, Dr. Asala from Medifem Multi-Specialist Hospital and Fertility Center here. On today's episode on tips about breast cancer, we are going to talk about risk factors. Risk factors are things that put you at an increased chance of developing a disease such as breast cancer. Now, there are modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. Modifiable risk factors are those risk factors that you can do something about. Examples when it comes to breast cancer include obesity, inadequate breastfeeding, harmful use of alcohol, tobacco use, and radiation exposure. Non-modifiable risk factors are those risk factors that you cannot do anything about. Examples include a family history of breast cancer, age greater than 40, female gender, early menarche, and late menopause. Join us tomorrow for another tip about breast cancer, and on the next episode we'll be talking about the non-modifiable risk factors for breast cancer.
It gives me great privilege to congratulate GhanaWeb on your 22nd anniversary. You have been a trailblazer in providing accurate and timely news, and we salute you on all your achievements and accomplishments. We wish you another 22 years of top-notch professional journalism. So congratulations once again, and keep up the good job.
Bold, beautiful, talented, God-fearing are the words that best describe her. She's one of the few gospel musicians that have climbed several international stages and represented the country globally. She has proven herself from time to time again, and she's here on Talk Attainment to get personal with us. This is Talk Attainment on GhanaWeb TV, and I am yours truly, Elsie Lama. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back to Talk Attainment here on GhanaWeb TV, and as usual, this show is proudly sponsored by Cheesy Pizza. Cheesy Pizza has all you want from jollof rice, smoothies, fried rice, spaghetti, and meatballs. We have great deals for you all week round. Cheesy Pizza gives you the McCheesy combo every Monday and Thursday with only 49 Ghana cedis. You get one small pizza, fries, chicken, one Coca-Cola at all their branches. Tuesdays are Super Tuesdays at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Buy your Super Family Pizza at half price every Tuesday for only 40 cedis at all their branches. Be a part of their midweek bonanza every Wednesday. Buy one and get one free at all their branches. Also remember to start your weekend with their special jollof rice and fried rice combo from Cheesy Pizza. Call 0264 133 397 0264 133 397 to place your order. Cheesy Pizza, your way. And yes, the time has come, and we have here the multiple award-winning Mrs. Celestine Donko. You are welcome.
My pleasure. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we stormed her place today, her studio, and we want to have a conversation with her, chat. Yeah, so I know you rap.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so you can open the show by just giving us some, some freestyle, some rap freestyle. Mashada for my rap freestyle.
Okay, me jima kumembo tunyumbo binti aseshe. Senior brand teno nankenye. Na so erade hu me mobo. Ode ya dumna dume. If I cried, they will she run me, man, I too much. All for me. Even before I pray, it's done for me.
Come on.
Sometimes grab me, misano, but he does for me.
Hey!
If you move and can she run when you mean the seminar, so favor of God do all for me.
Oh my God. I'm blown. I'm totally blown. Wow. It's the rhyming for me, you know, like, oh my God.
Thank you.
Charlie, you have to switch.
I have to switch
right, Charlie, because you can go like head to head with the guys. This is dope. This is dope.
Thank
this is dope. This
Thank
is dope. So, we know you as Mrs. Celestine Donko. We know you to be a singer, a powerful singer who has released back-to-back bangers for us. You have given us songs to worship with. You have given us songs to dance in church with. But there are other things you don't know about you, where you grew up, your upbringing, and all that. Can you give us something brief about your background?
Okay, the full name is Celestine Mausi. I used to be Akakbo, but now Donko because I'm married.
Yeah.
I'm from the family of 15. And my dad is late. My mom is fully alive, 70 plus and kicking. I'm the seventh sibling of 15. Grew up in Accra, born in Accra. I speak like 4 Ghanaian languages. And I attended school at primary school in St. Augustine's, JHS, Dampoy JHS, SHS, and Senior Secondary School, and then the University of Ghana. Graduated with a bachelor's degree in information study and sociology. What else? I'm married. I have 3 beautiful girls.
So how is it like toggling between career, life, and then being a family woman?
Well, it's all things are working together. I'm actually family woman. I'm also an entrepreneur. I am fully into detergent production. And so it's just grace and making the maximum use of 24 hours every day. That's all.
Is that enough for you though? The 24 hours?
Trust me, it is not at all.
Because nowadays, with the blink of an eye, the
time is
gone.
I know, and it feels like sometimes it feels like I have to have a 2 version of me so that one will be doing.
Charlie,
but
you should hire a personal assistant though, like you know.
But I do have a lot of helping hands around. My husband is the #1 of them. I have assistants at home who watch my back and stay with the kids, and my mom helps. So yes, everybody in the family helps one way or the other. So.
You made mention about the fact that you're the 7th born of 15 kids. How did that feel like?
It feels like a lot of work for my mom, you know. But you know, in those days, our parents, there was no family planning. They actually have children for fun. I don't know whether it's for recreation,
entertainment.
But it was good. She kept giving birth. You know, she should have stopped at the 7th, but you know, we thank God.
Mama is a strong woman.
She is
very strong woman. So, moving forward, so you have been able to collaborate with quite a number of secular artists, you know, particularly Akwaboy and Efia. Okay, it's just Akwaboy and Efia, right?
Yeah, basically. Let me say 3, Akwaboy, Efia, and Edem.
Oh, okay,
yes,
Edem.
Yeah.
But with the Akwaboy and Efia brought about some controversies, you know, the usual at the gospel access, you're not supposed to sing, you know, that kind of thing. But did that in any way deter you? Are you still going to did you draw lessons from it and go like, okay, so this is it, I've learned my lessons, I'm not going in for any secular artists, or you have an intention to?
Oh yeah, I've learned my lessons. I mean, every experience of it I've added to the next thing I'm going to do, but then definitely it's not going to be a backing down. It has to be something bigger and better. Yeah. So you know, we there's a plan, there's a direction, there's a focus, and that is what I look at. And at a point in time, if there is a need to bring in a secular act, to achieve what we want to achieve, we'll go for it. You know, what I did with Efia and Akwabwa was a project, and the same with Edem. Edem's own was a tribute song for the late Kwabena Dumo, and then Efia and Akwabwa's own was also like an all-star kind of song, Thanksgiving song. So there was a need for it, and my team thought about it that it was necessary. So going forward, you see, in life we never say never. Yes, when there is a need for it, we'll definitely do.
But like when the criticisms were pouring in left, right, center, forward, what was running through your mind the whole time?
To be very, very honest with you, it revealed to me how much the gospel is not heard. The true gospel is not being preached. Because in a 21st century, if some of these things still come up, and it's not only in Ghana, it's like all over the world.
Yeah.
Recently there was an issue about Kenya West topping charts, and you know, and so it resonates the fact that the gospel is not being heard or is not being properly preached. Because this, I mean, there shouldn't be discrimination among human beings.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves a chance, you know, to partake in the kingdom. And remember that Bible says we should go ye into the world. Now we are kind of creating a barrier rather. Trust me, this song I did with Efia gave me the opportunity and some kind of position. It made it easy for some of these secular guys to approach me. Yeah. And they wanted to share stuff with me. How they want to be in the church. How they actually want to join singing gospel music, but it's hard for them. Yes, those are the revelations that came out. And so it's sad that the gospel we are doing is actually about reaching out to these people. But on the other hand, we are creating a barrier to stop them. So for me, in the little corner where I am, I add my voice and do what I can do. But I pray that we'll all come to this understanding one day that look, it will shock us in the end.
Yeah, it will shock us, definitely.
Shock us in the end.
Because I feel like we are just human beings, flesh and blood. In as much as we all have, like, you might be a Christian and all of that, it's God who sees the heart of man, and He truly knows who is what and who is not what.
And even most importantly, God owns all of us.
Yes.
God actually created us. He owns us. So we call ourselves children of God. It's just like a mother who has 15 children like mine. Some will definitely go wayward and some will be in. Does it mean that you will discard your wayward children? No, you won't. And under no circumstance should your siblings also discard you. Even we human beings, if you treat your sibling in a certain way because they are not believers, you yourself now, you can be queried about that. How much more God? And so let's just be careful and let's just do what we are supposed to do.
Speaking about gospel songs and this whole hypocrisy that has come in recent times, there's word out there, fine, they are doing it to secular artists, but in as much as that is happening, there are rumors and there are words out there that is even happening among the gospel fraternity itself. How true is that? Is the sidelining and the what have yous, the negativity that has engulfed lack of unity in the gospel fraternity itself? Is it the case that is what has transcended beyond it and it's affecting the secular acts, the relation between the secular acts?
Well, I won't categorically say yes or no, but the truth of the matter is such notions are, they are real. Yeah. And with every human groups or institutions, people are different in their own ways. They have those they want to click with, and they have those they easily run with, and they easily connect with. But it's all also based on your interpersonal relationship with other musicians. For example, let's say I don't know you at all. I've not met you, but all I know is you are a Ghanaian artist. How do I connect to you? How do I make sure I have a relationship with you? For me, it is, even though I don't know you, I saw you are posting your flyer. I posted too. I saw you've posted a video. Of course, you posted because you wanted to be liked.
Yeah.
You wanted to be seen and heard. And so I give you that joy of being seen and heard by commenting and liking your post. So automatically, one kindness definitely returns another. Yeah. So that is how I try to connect with even artists who are not close to me. But the reality is, it seems like there are cliques.
The energy is not the same.
Exactly. And there are people who bond better than others. But I wouldn't call it hatred. I think it's
it's human nature.
I think it's just human nature. But there are ways that we can bridge those gaps, because in our world today, 21st century social media age, we need each other. No corner is small. No following is little. If you have 10 people following you and you post my song, those 10 people have seen it. They might never, they wouldn't have seen it on my page, but they saw it because you posted. That is how important it is for us to actually appreciate proper network and togetherness. It is for our own advantage. It's something that we just need to understand, that it will never help us if we are doing I like, I unlike, but rather connect us on the level of colleagues in the industry. That is what I run with. Yeah, and so I try to avoid, this is my clique, this is the enemy of my friend, a friend of my enemy, those kind of things. Yeah, they exist, but I don't run with them.
Are you still receiving the thank yous after performing at churches? Are you? But that's sister,
and easy.
Oh,
but by the grace of God, I mean, first fool is a fool. is not a fool, right? But the second fool is a big fool, and so when you experience unpleasant stuff like that, we come back, sit at the table with a team plan how to avoid it, and so we have been trying to avoid thank yous and meat pies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Meat pie and cook.
Charlie, yeah, wow.
So, like, I'm sure sitting back now and looking at all those times, have you ever thought and said to yourself, hey, like, I've really wasted my time, pal, at a point in time, because,
Never, to be honest. No, not at all. Because every little bit of the experience we have in life is important for our next level. That was what we used to be. That was how it used to be. But today the story is different. They are all very important experiences, contributing to the journey of where we are going.
You pull off very dope looks.
Oh, do I?
You have crazy, wild fashion sense. I've been watching you, most of your videos, you're dressing and all of that. Who is your plug? Share it so that Charlie...
Who is my what?
Your plug.
Like...
your fashion plug.
To be honest, I'm a weird kind of person in my own world. I can do the same dress I took to church. Like, I can do it for months. At other times, I can just put on my,
You're just normal.
I think it's just a creative aspect of me, and that manifests in the way I dress. Yeah, I might do some fashion things in the future. You never know.
Wow, that's great.
Because I really do have it in me.
I know you're enjoying the show, but let me interrupt you a little bit and go for this quick breather. When we come back, we have so much more for you. This is Talkatainment on GhanaWeb TV. Stay tuned.
welcome to the Discovery segment on Talk Entertainment here on GhanaWeb TV, and I'm with super talented violin player.
Yeah, Nana the violinist.
Nana the violinist.
Yeah. I didn't get access to a violin or anything until after senior high school, where I met somebody who was playing it. I was like, wow, it's not like you meet people and they have violinists written on their forehead. So I didn't know he actually played until we went to church one time. I saw him playing and I said, okay, then I also want to learn it, because I've always wanted to learn since I was a kid, but I never had the opportunity. So he helped me get my first violin, but then he left the country afterwards and I didn't have anyone else to help me out. So I just stuck to the internet, YouTube, practice, and then we are here today. The excitement with being a female violinist, like when everyone sees you, they're like, oh wow, you play the violin. Yeah, so it actually brings joy into the lives of a lot of people, because there are lots of common instruments out there. You have piano, guitar, so to have a lady play something that's not so common
in Ghana.
Yes, it makes me really happy. Growing up as a kid, I liked singing a lot. I loved music, so the interest has always been there. Yeah.
Right. So, what's your favorite thing about being a violinist?
Personally, I love pop music, but being a violinist, I've come to understand that you can't be a violinist or an instrumentalist per se and have a favorite genre of music. You have to be all around, because I love pop, somebody doesn't love pop, someone loves reggae, someone loves classical, someone loves Afrobeats, anything. So I made myself an all-round person. Wherever the demand is, that is where I go. No matter how difficult it is, I try so hard to penetrate that market and make sure I get it right. Yeah. So the challenges I've encountered so far has to deal mainly with me having no knowledge in music. I have no knowledge in music. I had to learn everything from scratch. It's been a lot to take in. The violin, there's so many things you have to focus on, how the sound you're producing on the bow, your notes, everything. There's so many things, trying not to make a mistake and all that. Combining that with gaining knowledge in music separately, because you can't just pick the violin and start playing. At least you should have some little knowledge in music. My name is Nana the Violinist. On Instagram, I am Nana the Violinist. On Facebook, Nana the Violinist. And on Twitter is Nana_Ohui, OHUI. And via telephone number, in case of calls for events and stuff like that, you can reach me on 020-906-3302. 020-906-3302. Yeah.
And we are back. If you just joined us, this is Talk Entertainment on GhanaWeb TV, and we are here having a nice time with Mrs. Celestine Donko. Don't forget, this show is proudly brought to you by Cheesy Pizza. Cheesy Pizza, your way. So
when are we going to when are we going to open this pizza?
We will munch in. Oh, you can start. You can start munching in.
Okay. There's a way we eat. There's a way we eat pizza. We can do it off camera.
You don't want to be caught and fresh.
Yeah, you know the thing.
Mrs. Donko, you have a new song out. Yeah. Only You.
Yeah.
Why Only You?
Only You is a testimony song. In fact, I mentioned Only You just once in the whole song. But I think it's the most appropriate title, because every other thing in the song the lyrics, the message points to only you, and the you here is just God, only God. I was just blown away with some amazing things God has done in my life. And because you are in my studio today, let me just begin with how God blessed us with this studio. You know, before I used to rehearse at other studios, pay to rehearse. Sometimes we rehearse on credit. Yeah. And especially when I'm about to have Celestial Praise, we have a lot of rehearsals. We have like more than 20 times rehearsals before the event. And so at that time it's pressure, so we credit the studio and then we rehearse, you know, so that we pay later. But God has blessed my ministry with this beautiful studio, well equipped and all. This is just one of the amazing things God has done. And you know, sometimes when you compare yourself to people, you would lose sight of what God is doing in your own life. You need to do comparison in life, but don't do it looking at people. Look at your past.
Yes.
Compare your past to today, and you'll be able to write down many amazing things that God has done. So we feel like we don't have testimonies because we keep comparing ourselves to other people external of us. But if we will be sincere to ourselves and look back, we would appreciate the mighty things that God has done. So this Only You song is everything of our life pointing to only God. If it hadn't been God, where would we be? So it's a testimony song that says it all for you. When you are thankful to God, you want to express your thanksgiving to God, just go on this Only You song and just express your thanksgiving, express your joy. It says it all.
On this place, can you give us some few lines of that Only You?
Okay, so my favorite line is, I have a testimony, a testimony. I tell the world my story of what you have done. Akbenamau, Akbenamau, Akbe miadana mau. Yeah,
I see you adopt the Ewe language in each of your songs. Is that a style, or you just want to acknowledge the part of the country where you hail from?
It's not really that. It's the love for my language. Even though I'm 100% Ewe, I was born in Ghana. Half of me come from Togo and half of me come from Volta region. I was born in Ghana, schooled in Ghana, so I've actually lost the richness of getting a grip of my language. Yeah, so when I hear it, it excites me. Yes, so it's not like to make a way out there. No, it's just my love for the language.
Wow.
So some way, somehow, a piece must show up in my song.
Because the first time I heard your voice was on that was what gripped me. So that's the only part of the song I sing. Please help sing it for me.
Machonyemowo ananyemawu enya nusiwo hiana adenyefupe bewo katanda yesu enye holo yela. Hey, you've learned the thing now. Hey, ananyemawe enya nusiwo hiana adenyefupe bewo katanda yesu enye holo.
Oh, that song.
Yeah.
That's crazy, you know.
It was
crazy.
all over.
So in your previous when you were speaking earlier, you made mention about testimonies. Have you so far had any mind-blowing testimonies from people who have listened to your songs, and how have they affected your Have they in any way encouraged you to do something more for your fans and stuff like that?
A lot of mind-blowing testimonies. Sometimes me myself, I wonder, I'm the one who sang the song. Why is my own testimony you're not this awesome? So I hear really awesome testimonies. There was one really important one to me. It comes to mind easily because of how amazing it is. And there's this woman I met. She actually called me to come to her child naming because that child is a miracle child. She has had over 6 times. They call it that thing that they do artificial insemination. Yes, they call it VI something, and it's really expensive. You have to pay over $6,000 each time she did it. She did it for 6 times.
Wow.
Yes, and all failed. And then she actually connected to my song Agbebolo, and somehow God just showed up when she actually wanted to give up, because she was crossing her natural age of giving birth and she was getting consent, and the Lord just blessed her with a beautiful baby. And when she shared this testimony with me, you know, when people say things like this, it looks very simple, but the things they went through behind the scenes, it's one of the most amazing testimonies. And it really encourages me. It